Welcome to Asianet News, Mr. Jaitly. Let me ask you first, Kerala elections are just a few days away, but much beyond just being a state election. What is the importance, according to you, of Kerala elections, generally in terms of a national perspective and also in particular in BJP's perspective?
You see, from a national perspective, Kerala has importance. It's a very important state. That's the first importance. The second importance is that out of these 5 assemblies which are going on poll, there are 2 which are held by the Congress party, Assam and Kerala. And there is a distinct possibility that Congress may end up losing both. Which means that the footprints of the Congress party will be probably Karnataka,
That's right.
Himachal Pradesh,
Right. And the 3 states in the northeast.
and the northeast. And I can tell you in Himachal and Karnataka they are in a fairly bad shape.
That's right.
Not likely to return when the next election comes in. I think this would be historically the lowest ever point. With 44 seats in the Lok Sabha wiped out across the length and breadth of the country for the Congress. And therefore Indian politics, at least the 2 fronts at the national level, the NDA and the UPA, are built around 2 national parties. And therefore, from us politically as BJP and NDA, the nucleus of the UPA becomes extremely, extremely weak. That's, I think, the first important point. The second, I think this is for the first time that the Kerala state election, which is bipolar conventionally, has become tripolar. And therefore, there is a third major player. I can see an upsurge of the BJP and the NDA taking place. We are not likely only to make a presence in the assembly, we are likely to get a sizable amount of vote. And once we cross a particular threshold, a hump, then I think the growth of the BJP in future in Kerala is going to be very significant. And therefore, if the BJP, we came down as far as Karnataka, we went eastwards towards Bihar. But if we win Assam, which we are likely to, and enter the assemblies in a big way in Bengal and Kerala, I think in creating a footprint nationally, it's a very distinct
That is the importance for
factor
BJP also.
For the BJP.
What about the seeds that, there's been much talk about the lotus, finally going to bloom in Kerala. But do you have any prediction as far as Kerala is
Well,
concerned?
I don't. I'm not a psephologist, so I won't predict seats. But I can tell you there are a sizable number of seats in Kerala where the election is tripolar. And places in the north like Kasaragod, Trivandrum, etc. I am reasonably certain that we are going to make a sizable presence in the assembly, both in terms of votes and in terms of seats.
Now, both the fronts, the UDF as well as the LDF, both have been accusing each other of having a secret deal with the BJP.
Well, I can tell you, CPM, Congress and Muslim League, not even in our dreams will we have a relationship with these 3 parties. On the contrary, we have the experience of Congress and the left coming together in West Bengal. They have an open alliance now. They supported each other in the UPA from 2004 to 2009. If by any chance Kerala has a hung assembly,
Who are you going to support?
we will not support either of them. They will be supporting each other.
Okay. But this question...
And the possibility of UPA, LDF and UDF coming together is much higher. They are natural bedfellows. We are their natural opponents.
Okay. This question arises from a history. Like, there have been instances in BJP's history here because, they have so-called sold some of the votes to the UDF in certain elections, and there have been inquiries done by the BJP state unit.
No, we don't. I'll tell you, the left has been very violent against the BJP and the RSS cadres. And because of that, there is a kind of anger against them.
Right.
And therefore, even in a natural course where we were very weak and we could not penetrate the strength of the 2 fronts, rather than waste a vote, the anti-left sentiment could have reflected itself. But that is not the position this time.
But can you say
This time I can tell you a lot of vote which would go to the left and the UDF will come to us because that's our natural vote.
but who would be your prime enemy, as it were?
Well, I think I would maintain an equidistance from both because the question of our doing business with either of them just doesn't arise.
But there have been, certain observations made that it's actually the BJP which is going to throw a spanner into the left hopes to come back to power, because
See,
the
that is said because that is a theoretical analysis because historically the minorities used to vote more for UDF than LDF. I don't know whether that's the position this time. Second factor, historically it used to be alternatively the UDF and LDF. And therefore people thought it is the LDF turn. This upsurge in the BJP vote,
right.
whose vote is the BJP getting? Is it the left or is it... I think it's our natural vote coming back to us. It's coming back from both the fronts. Therefore, the total vote of both of them is going to be somewhat depleted.
But since the minorities stand firm almost with the UDF and the left being a traditionally Hindu...
Well, I don't think that is the condition. I have studied opinion polls of a large number of constituencies, and I think that presumption doesn't hold valid. Communities are well spread over.
But the structural bottleneck, as it were, of the BJP in Kerala have been the 42% minorities in Kerala population. Given that situation, how do you think that BJP can cut across this
You see,
structural
I'll tell you,
bottlenecks?
I have no difficulty the BJP working with the minority groups. We can certainly, we'd like more and more Christians to come and join the BJP. We have no fundamental differences with them. I have personally the best of relationship with their institution, and we'd like to keep that relationship on. We have no difficulty with the Muslim minority being a part of the social and economic political power structure in this country. We have absolutely no difficulty. Our problem is Muslims certainly should be a part of the social and power political structure as far as India is concerned.
Right.
My difficulty is with the Muslim League,
Okay.
not with the Muslims.
Okay. Now, BJP, Kerala has always had a representation in almost all the central governments in the past. This would be, the only one which doesn't have. Now that a new Rajya Sabha MP also has been nominated from Kerala.
Well, that's the prerogative of the Prime Minister.
But
I
don't
can't
you think
comment
that
on it.
Kerala should have a representation?
Obviously, it should have. You see, on an earlier occasion when Mr. Vajpayee's government, Kerala did not give a BJP MP, we got him elected from another state.
That's right, but that
Malayali,
hasn't
so
happened.
that he could, Oraj Gopal could be there, and then PC Thomas was elected from here and he
Right.
was inducted in. We'd certainly like, and I'm sure the Prime Minister is very conscious of this fact,
Right.
that the government should have a representation from Kerala.
Right.
We are conscious of this fact, but that's a prerogative the Prime Minister has to exercise.
Now something to do with your ministry. Now the EPF, Employee Provident Funds, it has become a site of conflicts and
No, I'll
rolling
explain to
back.
you.
of
I'll
it.
tell you, it's not a rollback. This money belongs to the employees.
Right.
Whatever you earn in the particular year, that percentage has to be added to their
Right.
account. Now in the year 2015-16, we have not even earned 8.7. Interest rates are by and large going down.
Right.
Across the world they are down, in India also they are down. We have a carryover surplus of last year, about 1604 crores. Now, if we give them a part of that surplus, it would have become 8.8. There is no difficulty. But the board of trustees themselves made a recommendation that provide for interest this time in the dormant accounts, the inoperative accounts. Now, if you provide for the inoperative accounts, then you can't reach 8.8. It's arithmetic, it's not policy.
Right.
It's a division.
But they recommended 8.8.
They recommended 8.8 and said also provide for
dormant.
dormant accounts. Now, if you provide for inoperative accounts, you can't reach 8.8.
Right.
So we said then you can only reach 8.7.
Right.
Then day before yesterday, the Labour Minister met me, and the Labour Ministry gave in writing all right, let's not provide for inoperative accounts.
Okay.
And I said, all right, then take 8.8.
Okay. So the status
So
quo
the so the gray area is, if you provide for inoperative accounts, it's 8.7. If you don't provide for inoperative accounts, it's 8.8.
Right. So it almost remains the same.
It's an arithmetic.
Right. But now
It's not policy.
Right. Right. There is another issue about which there have been strikes in Bangalore, like withdrawal of the employers' contribution to to EPF. This cannot be withdrawn. I mean, there has been a bar on the withdrawal of those. Will there be a rethink on that?
No, I don't know. That's for the Labour Ministry to decide. I won't comment. But let me just tell you, please understand that India needs to become a pensioned society. Even when I had earlier announced the private sector employees must also have a pension, and that has to be a contributory pension. Now, if you look at the way I have now tailored the national pension scheme, which is open for any private citizen also, during your earning career, you make deposits, and when you retire, you get a lump sum, which is tax-free. The balance amount, 40% you can collect, which is tax-free. The balance amount becomes an annuity and you get a pension regularly, which is also tax-free. The way the world is moving, unpensioned people cannot only depend on likely savings, which are not very high, or on families. They must have a reserve of what they've earned across in their careers. And my effort really is a pro-workman or a pro-employee attitude. We'll give you all the tax concessions, save more for old age, withdraw something on retirement, you may need it for houses or any family commitments, and keep some for your old age, which will be tax-free pension, which will be inherited by your children, also tax-free. That's the scheme of the national pension scheme.
Now the last question, sir, about the Augusta Westland thing. Now the AK Antony has actually challenged the government, saying that if you have the evidence, why don't you initiate action instead of just making major allegations?
I think the investigation is on. He's been the defense minister. He's an honorable man. He knows it that evidence is across in other countries. So from 11 different countries, letter-o-gatories have been sent by the CBI. Some countries are cooperating with early response, some are not. So when you get the information, you will certainly get the evidence.
But do you subscribe to Mr. Subramaniam Swamy's charges about Sonia Gandhi, whether she is having?
Well, I am not on this. I am all that I am saying is, there is a bribe giver who has been arrested.
Right.
Obviously, there were bribes and there is a bribe taker. So you can't have a transaction in which the bribe giver goes to jail and the bribe taker is not known. So we must find out who the bribe taker is. That's all.
At least in this case, I think it won't happen the way Bofors went.
There the government changed and the Congress covered it up.
Right, but that's not going to happen this time.
I'm sure it's not going to happen.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.